In this tutorial, we are going to import 3D animation from 3ds Max into Unity. This process will be the same for any animation you would like to bring from any 3D packages. To demonstrate this task, we are going to create a simple door. So let's start by creating a box here. This box will represent me the first wall, and I'm going to duplicate this box. So I'm going to clone and make it as a copy, and then here's the next door wall, and after that we're going to create a third box to represent the door. Okay, let's put it in a place and resize it to the size we would like. One of the most important thing we should pay attention to when we animating object inside the 3D is the pivot point. Currently, as you see for this box, this is the pivot point. Pivot point is the can represent the center of mass for the object, and also is the point where all the transformation is going to take place. So if we would like to rotate this box, as you see, it will rotate around that pivot point. For a door animation, we would like the door to rotate around its far end, like at this point exactly. To change the pivot point in 3ds Max, we go to hierarchy and then affect pivot only. I'm going to bring the pivot, and let's just bring it up to this point. Okay, and also let's look from the top view for our door to see where exactly is the pivot point. I would like it to be exactly in the middle as well. So when I'm happy with this, I will uncheck this button, affect pivot only, to return back to the normal editing mode. Now, as you can see, if I select rotate, I can rotate and open this door. Okay, this is a very simple model. I don't want to spend the time make it look like a real door, so it's just that is just perfect for the demonstration. The next step is to add some keyframe animation to this door. Current frame, it's 0. I'm just going to add its auto key and add a key here, and then scroll back to frame 25, open the door all the way, and then I'm going to scroll again to frame 50 and then close the door, bringing this to 0 exactly here, to be more precise. Let's check the animation. Okay, so here is the door open, then door close. I'm happy with this animation, so let's export this as FBX file. FBX file will enable me to exchange 3D models between applications. So let's go to export and go to the desktop, and then give it a name, door anim, and choose FBX and hit save. It will bring for me a dialog box. I would like to talk about two important points here. The first thing is the animation. Because we have animation, we would like to check the animation option, and then we can bake our animation. And let's bake it from we would like to bake from frame 0, where my animation starts, up to frame 50, where my animation ends, and keep it step by one frame. If I have added textures or materials and I would like to export that as well, I will check this box. But currently I don't have any material. These colors you see on the door and on the wall is actually, it's the 3D Max is giving them random color to help me be able to recognize them differently, but these are not the actual or material on them. So I don't have any, so I will check this because I don't. Then I hit OK, and then I'm done. The next step is to open Unity and import this FBX file. Okay, so now I'm inside of Unity and I would like to import my asset. I can drag and drop my assets into a Unity assets folder, and Unity will import that for me. But to keep things always organized in your project, it's always a good practice to create folders for the models that you're going to import from external applications. So here I'm going to say 3D models. These are the models that I'm going to import, and I open that folder, and then I'm going to go to assets, import new assets. Then I'm just going to navigate to where I saved my FBX file, and it was called door anim. So let's open that. Unity will import that, and once I select it inside the project tab, looking into the inspector, I will be able to see different import properties that Unity allow me to change. Currently is the scale factor is 1. That means whatever unit I have set up into 3D Max, Unity will import it as 1:1, exactly the same. I can scale that, change it to bigger value or smaller value, depends on how I would like to scale my model. Anyway, I would like to generate collider here in this option because I want player to be able to collide with the door. We will keep this option the same. We are not going to change any of them. They are fine for me, so I will just hit apply. Then I'm going to go to reg and see what does it have. It says animation type generic, and there are none if I don't want to import the animation, but I would like to, so I will keep it as generic. That means this is a generic animation. If I have a human or humanoid animation on a character, I will choose humanoid, so Unity will deal with it as a character animation. But this is just generic. Legacy is the animation that is going to be used for the previous or the old animation system inside of Unity that was not based on the Mecanim, but we're going to use Mecanim because Legacy is going to be deprecated in a few years, so we will not deal with it anymore. Then I'm going to because there is nothing here to change, I'm just going to go to animation and see what does it have. Currently it says to import the animation, so that's good for me. Currently I have got one animation clip that's called Take 001. Because I don't have any name on my animation, Unity give it a default name. Let's play my animation. First, let's scale this preview and hit play. Okay, I can see the animation. That means everything is fine. Unity recognizes everything and everything is good. And as you see, it's all white. There is no textures or material, no colors, because we already know that we didn't add any of them. So that's fine for me. Let's work now with this clip. As you know, we have 4 states for the door. We're going to have 4 states. That it means that the door is opened, the door is closed, the door is being opened, and the door is being closed. So these are the 4 states. I would like to separate the animation here first in order to create these 4 states for my animation. So I'm going to click on clamp range, starting from frame 0 to frame 1 to frame 1. I'm going to tell Unity that this is the idle state or the default state of my door, where is it closed. I can give it any. Then I'm going to hit the plus sign here and hit enter to confirm. Well, again, I'm just going to hit enter on this one because this is the idle, and this is going to be another animation where is the door is open animation, door open, and then hit enter. And then clamp range again, and this time is going to be from frame 2 to frame 25. As you remember, we end the door open animation on a frame 25. And if we would like it to be a loop animation, we will check this box, but it's not a looping animation, so that's fine. I hit. Then I'm going to add the third animation. I'm going to give it a name, door close, and clamp range from 26 and to 50, and that's good. Everything is set up here. We hit apply. Okay, now if I expand the model that Unity imported for me, I will see that I have got 3 animations right now. Now let's create some scene to use this door inside my game. So the first thing, I'm just going to create let's say a terrain. That's okay for me. And then I'm just going to put this wall and hit F on the keyboard to zoom in and see where I have placed this door animation. Okay, here we are. So let's bring the character controller from the assets import package characters. Okay, now Unity has imported the characters assets for me. So let's go to standard assets, characters, first person, prefabs, and first person controller, and let's just put it here. As you see here that the character controller is way too big comparing to my door. My door is so small. To fix that, I'm just going to go to again to my 3D model here, and then going to the model on the inspector, so I have to select it inside the project, and then change the scale factor to, let's say, 15 times or 10 times. Let's see, set greater than this size 10 times, and hit apply. Unity will re-import it, and let's see the character now controller. It's almost perfect for me, but needs a little, just a little bit more, and that's it. Okay, now here is the character and here is the door. Now let's just delete this camera because we don't need it, and let's hit play. And here is the door. Let's approach the door. It's closed, it's not opening. Now let's play it. We would like to play the animation when the character gets closer to the door. To do that, I'm going to the instance I have created from the door. I see that it has an animator controller here, but currently it says none. So I need to create a controller for that door to control its animation. Right, so let's do a right click on then create and animation controller, and let's call it door controller. Double click to open, and we will bring us the Unity Mecanim System. Currently we don't have any state, just entry and end state, so nothing is going on here. The first thing I would like to bring the idle, and Unity will make it as the default state because now it's orange. Let's bring also door open, and let's bring door close. Okay, when I'm in the idle state, I would like to make a transition to go to door open, and from door open I will make another transition going to the door close, and from the door close, after I close it, I will go back to the idle. So this is the process. However, if I play this in Unity, this is what's going to happen. Currently nothing happened. Why? Because this controller is not attached to the model, to this instance. So let's drag and drop it here. Another thing, I just want my character to see the door, so I'm just going to rotate the character to face the door and hit play and see what's going to happen. The door opened and it closed, open and it closed. It went into an infinite loop where it's just playing the animation, even though we didn't set any loop animation, but it's keeping looping now. Why is that? It's because we set the idle as the default animation, so it's in the idle state. Then we added a transition, unconditional transition actually, meaning that there is no condition to change the state from idle to door open. So Unity will change the state because there is no condition. Then again, when it finished the door open, it will change to the door close, and when it finished the door close, it will go to idle and keep rotating forever. So this is the thing we need to control. We want to change from one state to another based on specific triggers. To do that, we're going to parameters, and let's add a new trigger, and this is, let's call it open, and another trigger, let's call it close. Why we need two triggers? We need one trigger to trigger the idle states to go to door open, and then we want to stay on the open state, and then we will need another trigger to close the door when we don't need the door open anymore, and we will go to the door close. So we will need one condition here, another condition here, or another trigger, and finally when the door is closed and we finish closing the animation, we will go without any condition back to the idle state. So that's it, how we're going to set these conditions. Let's select the state, or the let's select the transitions. So the first transition, we will notice that there is a blend, or there is some fading between these two animations. Actually, I don't want that. I just want to remove this. I don't want any transition between these two. Unity will try to smooth the animation or make the transition smooth, but for this I don't need. Let's now add a new condition, and it's called open. And for this one, again, let's smooth it and add the close trigger, and here we don't need to do anything, just remove the fading or the transition between these two. I just want to direct cut between these two animations, and that's it. Now we are ready. Let's try it now. Door is not working anymore. If we try to get closer, it won't open because we need to send the triggers. Now, how are we going to send those triggers? We're only going to do this with code. So let's go. Let's create a new script, C# script. Let's call it door controller, and start Visual Studio. Okay, now I'm inside of Visual Studio, and I would like to add the code that will send the triggers to the door to open or close. The first thing, I don't need actually these two methods, the start and the update, so I'm just going to remove them for now. Now we need to decide when we want to send those triggers. The open trigger will be sent once something happen inside the game, or an event occurred. In this case, we would like to send the trigger to the door. But currently, let's make it simple, and when the player gets closer to the door, we want to open it. We can do this with different techniques. We can use ray trace technique, or we can use collider. So let's do the simple thing or the simple concept is by creating a collider on the door. So let's go to the door model here inside of Unity, and let's add a new component that is collider, box collider. And let's see where this is the collider that Unity has added for me. Let's scale it, change its position to match the door, move it up, scale it more, even more. So that is exactly this, almost exactly the size of the door. There we go. But this is not what I want. Currently, if the player touches this green box, it will Unity will detect a collision has happened. But I don't want it to be this size. I want to scale it even more on the Z axis like this. So once the player reaches to this point here, it will touch this green box. Unity will detect a collision has happened, and then we will be able to send a trigger to the animation controller. One thing we need to do is to set is trigger to true on the box collider. Otherwise, this collider will prevent our player to go through it. Okay, now it will be just, this box will be just a trigger. Unity will know exactly when something touches this. Another thing, we need to identify the object that's going to touch this box. So I'm going to go to my character controller here, and I'm going to tag it with something meaningful. So currently it says tag untagged, so hit or click the button here and add the tag. Let's create a new one and call it player. Go back to the character controller and tag it as the player. Now I'm inside of Visual Studio, and I want to send the trigger to the door controller. The first thing, I'm going to use the onTrigger method, onTrigger enter method, which send me a collider, and let's call it a collider with a small c. This method, Unity will call it when something collide with that green box on the model. Let's check what was that thing. So collider, that the parameter that's passed to this function, the game object the tag, is it equal the player, because we may have some other object inside the game and we don't want to open the door. I just want to open the door for the player. If this is true, then I will say this dot get component animator dot set trigger. I'm going to pass the same trigger I have set inside of the Mecanim system, which is called open. And again, I will copy this, and instead of on trigger enter, it will be on trigger exit. And again, if the collider is tagged player, I'm going to send another trigger called close. Let's save this script file, go back to Unity, and let's take this script file and attach it to my door model, and let's test the code. Now I'm pushing, now I'm very close. Oh, the door opened for me. I go in, let's look back, the door is closed. Again, yep, it's open, but in the other side it looks like the collider is too close to the door. Let's make sure this is true. Yes, here you see it's closer than this one. We might extend it even more to make it works much better for us. Okay, here, let's go back, and once we leave, the door will close, and that's it. One thing we would like also to add is to create a Boolean variable and call it is open, and it's just to, if we would like to check the state of the door for any specific reason, we will save the state in this variable or this flag. So is open equal false, and I will not close the door unless it is open. So if is open equal true, then I'm going to close and set the variable to false, and save that, and let's test this again. It's closed. Nice, and that's it.